I'm calling right now the layer one wars because that's kind of what we're seeing played out in the top 50 market caps. You guys are in there, but I've also had people like Justin Son of Tron here. I've had Emin and John Woo of AVAX. Obviously, we're talking about Solana and DOT. I've had Macaulay here of Algorand, and they all have a layer one solution with a new consensus protocol that's going to be the fastest and the next best thing. And I hope they're all right. And I hope you're right too. What makes yours different? Can they coexist? And maybe you can go a little deeper on Elrond.
Sure. I think a good way of framing things is escaping this sort of zero-sum game. Because if you're focused specifically on the physical economy, current financial system, things are very much zero-sum. You sort of very hardly can make new things without taking a bit from the other ones and so forth. But fundamental to what we consider the most important element at this point is this idea that our discussion, our progress is not looked at in the light of what, let's say, if we're a Bitcoin killer, an Ethereum killer, or some other project killer. Rather, we're super focused on onboarding the next billion people. Why is that? Well, it almost seems like if you were to boil down things to one thing and one thing only, then this entire market lives and dies by the number of people it can onboard. If you're playing with the same people, then of course, the focus will be, how do I kill Bitcoin? How do I steal a few people from Bitcoin, a few people from Ethereum, and so forth? Rather, if you're looking at this from the standpoint of we're more than 8 billion people, and we currently have probably like 200 million people in the space playing with this technology. At that point, it becomes even more obvious how large the opportunity is here. And it becomes even more obvious why this change from dial-up to broadband is necessary, and also why this change from simplicity becomes necessary if you've solved the scalability problem. And so what Elrond has been focusing on is not looking at the technology for technology's sake, but solving the problem as fast and elegant as possible to then move to the next elephant in the room, which will see a discussion around for the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years, which is always onboarding the users. How can you simplify? Suppose that you've solved scalability and everything has gone to a maximum point. What do you need most? What will be the fundamental limitation toward which you'll look day after day? And we've looked at this for the last year, for the last 2 years, and so forth. And since Maiar has been launched, Maiar is specifically this application that simplifies interaction, that enables anyone to just with a phone to tap into this new opportunity, this new technology, without having to understand all the rocket science that goes behind the scenes. And so zooming out, 1 billion people is the focus that we're looking at. Why 1 billion? Because when we would reach a milestone of 1 billion people, I believe that this virtual economy will very likely become the default economy. At that point, this economy will make the current financial system look like the TV looks right now. I mean, of course, the TV still exists, but when you're on the internet, you see that everything happens a lot faster, a lot more exciting, a lot more interesting. And so 1 billion people is the focus. We welcome all the efforts in the space. I don't think this is a zero-sum game, as I said before. I do think there's a lot of merit to Bitcoin. I do think there's a lot of merit to Ethereum and some of the other technologies. I just think that we're going to see several multi-trillion-dollar networks in the space, and Elrond is extremely well positioned to deliver a product and experience to nations, to institutions, to businesses and users in a way that has not been delivered before. So yeah, anyone who wants to contribute to that vision is super welcome wherever they may come from.